podcast.
I'm humbled.
So I just want us to discuss about. But I just want us to discuss about the duties of education in influencing social change. So
Okay.
I know that you are very busy and you are really trying to use education to change the society there in Uganda. So maybe you can just tell our audience about yourself and what you do briefly.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I greet all our viewers and listeners around the world. And I also do appreciate my brother, Teacher Joseph Lejore from Kenya, for starting up this amazing podcast and platform. Yes, I'm Teacher Peter Okware from Uganda, East Africa, and Uganda is a part of Africa anyway. And I'm a teacher by profession. Yes, I've been teaching for the last 10 years, and I've seen a lot of transformation being done. And the beauty of it is that the transformation that are done in education, they are not just appeasement transformation, but they are the ones that make an impact in people's lives. I'm also a director of an organization called Teachers TV Africa and Teachers in Need, plus I'm a director of a community school called Rising Star Preparatory School, again in Uganda. Yes, I'm also a Mandela Washington alumni 2021. I'm also a trained financial literacy trainer from Bank of Uganda. And currently I head over 8,000 plus teachers all over the country. Those are our members subscribed under Teachers in Need. And our major portfolio is basically in transforming education through using various strategies on how we can promote the quality education, firstly through teachers, because we believe that the best way how we can at least have a change is simply through working on the teachers first than looking at any other thing. So that's it for now.
Thank you so much, Tisha Peter. So I was going through some of the comments in one of your posts, and someone was saying that your passion for education to change the community is unmatched. What you are doing there is really impactful, and people are feeling it from you are following from what people say in your comments. It's really encouraging, and I saw that it's really good for me to have you here, and maybe you, from your experience, people from my community here in Kenya can as well learn that you can inspire the youth, young people who will be listening to us, at least to wake up and use education as a tool to change this community. So tell us, why do you think education can be used to transform our society, our rural communities, maybe the same case in Uganda and in Kenya? Why do you have that passion and believe in education?
Thank you. Firstly, teacher, I also read that comment. Sorry, I also read that comment on I think Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I didn't give it a lot of attention, but I read it and I saw it. So first and foremost, okay, there are so many people, teachers and non-teachers, whom I've listed have inspired to become teachers, and also inspired people who are older than me to start up schools. Others are local schools, others are international schools, something which is extremely amazing. And the reason why I believe we can use education to transform society is simply because education is quite different from other approaches of like transformation. If you look at it today, most people look at one area, and most of us put a lot of emphasis and a lot of support in politics. But at the end of the day, politics doesn't change the nation. Politics doesn't change the nation, it's only education, in a way that education builds very informed family. It starts with education. If you want informed societies, it starts with education, because education gives us a gist of what is needed, what can harmonize societies, what can harmonize families, what can build human resource solutions. And at the end of the day, most of us, the reason why we don't look at it is simply because it's not a one-day job. It's a process. And we are living in a generation in the results. People want the results, but not the process. So education, its beauty is that it gives us that process whereby at the end of the day, you are mentoring a person through and through in all aspects. So you find that our biggest challenge that we have today is that it starts again with the systems of education that our education basically was diverted from transformation to performance that we had in one of the international schools here in Uganda. That was one of the things that we discussed about it. Should we teach with an objective of transforming lives, or we should teach with an objective of maybe creating that impact? And I'm also, if you're okay with it, I can share it with you so that you can also add it in maybe this podcast, or so that at least people can get the feeling from various teachers about that our education, it can be used to transform lives, but the only challenge is that most people are looking at it as a just passing, and simply because its impact is not felt within a short period of time, so many people don't look at it and they prioritize other things. So at the end of the day, that's why we are losing as Africans. And even like if you look at Teachers TV Africa or Teachers in Need or Teacher Peter, our focus is not in Uganda. Our focus is all over Africa. And that's why currently we have a follow-up of all over. We have a follow-up in the US, we have a follow-up in England, we have a follow-up in all African countries, simply because all people have this in mind that all the transformation that we need, it can't come overnight and it has to come through education, but it can't come through one person. Even this one person like Teacher Peter, however passionate I might be, I need a lot of informed people, supportive people and teams, and also the resources. So not only financial resources, but resources in terms of human resource. So education is general. I think it is like the way how Papa Nelson Mandela stated it. Education is the main weapon we can use to transform the world. Unfortunately, we haven't picked it up with two hands, simply because the impact of education can't be felt in 1 year. They can't be felt in 2 years. It takes like 10 years, 15 years, 8 years. So people are not that patient. Yes.
Thank you so much for that response. It's really awesome and very clear. So I was just thinking about now when we talk about education and we are looking at the African education, and then we say that in most education system, they are not up to transforming the society as we wish education to do. So as one duty of education. So what do you think needs to be changed? What's one thing that you need that if we focus on that, then education will have its meaning, its purpose?
Okay, it's a very good question. I think one thing that first and foremost, I give education all over Africa credit, because at least we are not where we used to be. That is one. But one thing that we need to change, if at least we are to get on the right track, is okay, it might not be one just as a bold one, but at least it can be one with other attachments. But it's all about supporting all the stakeholders in education to understand the concept of the education we need versus the education we want. If people understand the concept of the education we need versus the education we want, then people can really get to know exactly on what we need to do right. In a way that you find that with the education we need, it is more of providing solution-based education. And currently, that's the education which Africa needs. We need more of solution-based education. Now, with the education we want, it is more of performance, passing exams. And look at it today. Today in Africa, we have so many people who have passed highly, but we have high rates of unemployment. Look at our lifespans. Our lifespans are not improving because education has to improve the lifespan. Look at the way how conflicts on simple matters. Look at the corruption itself. So if education is not working on those salient issues, it simply means that our education has something, an ingredient, which is still missing. And basically that ingredient is found if people embrace the education we need. Now, finally, look at today, all of us, you and me and everyone who is watching us today, they might be sitting on furniture, and that furniture comes from wood. But ask yourself a simple question: how is education supporting us to see that we don't degrade the entire environment? We don't cut forests and we cut them and don't replenish or don't plant them back. So the real education that we need should be the education which is solution based. But that one can come into play if all the stakeholders get to know the real objectives. Parents get to know the real objectives, teachers get to know the real objectives, the stakeholders like the government, those are the mainstream, and even other, like there is a silent stakeholder that we don't all focus on, and that is the media. There's a way how our media has totally killed the nations in all areas of Africa. You find that content that they give most of their time is not constructive and positive, and they end up blaming the governments. So if all the stakeholders get to know about the education we need, and each stakeholder plays their role, from maybe mosques, churches, communities, the media, and the way how we have seen people doing it on COVID. If that's the same strength and ability we put in the education, we can have a very, at least a better stand and a better ground to bargain for a better future. But right now, if you are still focused on the education we want, the one for performance and competition, we have a long way to go, a long way to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You see, when you know what inspired this conversation is your TED talk. That is your English talk in Mandela Washington Fellowship. I was really in love with it. In the fact being a teacher, and then I was like, why? I wanted to know more about education we need versus education we want. But now I can get the distinction, and I know now that the education that I went through, and the education that is here in Kenya in the curriculum 844 curriculum that we have is education we want. It's not education we need. But thankfully, the government of Kenya just very recently changed the curriculum from the 844 system, which was content based, to competencies based. So meaning it's now, we are now at the threshold of changing the curriculum from education we want to education we need. And I hope that stakeholders now will actually have that one through this conversation. Will know the importance of us having the education we need and not the education we want, because we have actually put ourselves into a competition whereby we want only performance, and we don't look at the end result. You see, we don't look at the end result. We don't look at the real purpose of education, but we only want kids to get or students to get A's, B's, and all that. And at the end of the day, you get that this system is not going to give us even the jobs that we need. So after getting an A or getting a B and passing, that's why you wonder, from here, where do I go? Because at the end of the time, you go to the university, which is not focused on competencies, and then you come out there and there are no jobs because education is not performing its purpose. So it's really good that you have highlighted that. I really like it, and I hope that even our listeners will take that one as a key point there and help it use it to change their work. So now, can you talk to our parents? You know, their key stakeholders. Just how do you think that parent can contribute in this when it comes to nurturing and mentoring the students, their students when they have them at home?
Okay, thank you very much. This is one thing that at least we have all got wrong. Yes, when we talk about education, most people think about education as schools. Yes, and we mainly think about parents as the facilitators in terms of the supporters in terms of finances. Yes, but the reality is the parents are the first teachers. The first teachers are not the schools, but the parents. And besides parents, again, being the first teachers, if you look at the systems of education, yes, like the competence based, which is also being introduced in Uganda, and in Uganda, they start need. We have been teaching that for the past 3 years. Whenever we go to workshops, we tell teachers on how to incorporate the competence based into their teaching curriculum. Now, this is a challenge, even if it is in Kenya. But when parents are not in the know of the competence based, I tell you one thing, it won't soak. It won't be absorbed, okay, in the system, simply because parents are the final, or they are the drivers of education. We believe it or not. And if they are the major funders of education, they are the drivers of education, they will determine the direction where education faces. So if they are not in the same accord with us, it simply means that whatever we shall be doing, they shall be acting as that wet blanket, or the shock absorber, or they will do what it takes to see that the competence-based approaches don't see they don't score their set objectives, or they don't win. Now, what has to be done? I think this should be done from all angles. This is the high time whereby all stakeholders should start engaging parents fully into the education system, not only as a way of paying school fees, but as a way of seeing that parents can also play their role. They should be the first teachers, and they should be told, mainly parents in Africa, they should be told about which child do we need. Ask yourself a simple question. Look at our doctors. What are our doctors capable of? They're just prescribers. They just prescribe drugs. You get the point? They just service patients. We have few specialized doctors. And if you make your rounds, you find that even the few specialized doctors that we have in Africa, they first fly abroad to get more expatriate knowledge, or that expertise knowledge from those countries. Then they come back to our countries. So what are we teaching exactly? And you look at it in this way. Go to Kenya, make your rounds in all the arcades and all the shops. Look at what people are selling. I can tell you 80% or 70% of the products that we are selling are imported into Africa. And with that, where do we take the continent? So we should empower the parents and empower the next generation that what we need is not just about passing examination, but transformation. And transformation is sacrifice. It has to be a sacrifice, whereby we should encourage our parents and the learners and the teachers to go an extra mile beyond passing. Look at it currently in all schools. Currently, we all have phones. Here with me, I'm having two phones. I'm having this phone, it's a smartphone, and I'm also having this one, it's a smartphone. These are all phones. But every now and then, these phones at times, you'll find that it needs maybe a screen saver, it needs a new battery, it needs maybe a sound system, it needs something, a charging system. But these are things that are not taught in schools. Why can't we teach our children to do these things? Let them start by learning how to repair these things. And the next day you'll find them having the urge of producing them or manufacturing them, because they would be on a high level. But as long as our parents are not informed about that, all they tell us, study hard, become a doctor, become a lawyer, study hard, become a pilot. There's no purpose of studying hard to become a pilot if I can't create a plane. My purpose should be study hard and create one, produce one. Not, I might not create, but at least manufacture one. Study very hard, instead of telling us that study hard and maybe become a doctor. Study hard and innovate, be innovative, create manufacture medicine. We have so many hubs in Africa that we can use to create those or to manufacture good medicine. And whites have done that. They have come to our continent and they have created, or they have manufactured a lot of good medicine. Like in Uganda, one of I think it's a medicine, I don't know how we call it, but one of those medicines used when ladies are giving birth during that moment, they got it from Uganda. And they took it to the US, it went through clinical tests, and currently it's on the world market. But Ugandans don't know it. So what are we studying? So at the end of the day, there is a lot whereby we should school parents, school them about the future. And finally, it goes back to this point. Look at it today. Before, there was slave trade, and that slave trade was very aggressive. But today, we have what they call modern voluntary slave trade. Modern voluntary slave trade, where even our countries sign contracts. And you find that African young educated boys and girls have gone to the Middle East and they have become slaves, modern slaves, voluntarily. So it goes back to the education, and these are the educated people. But what does it mean? It simply means whatever they learned was obsolete. So what do we have to put into place? We have to do one thing to see that we support our parents to know exactly that should we focus on just passing, or we should focus on transformation. So they have at least if they know that, they will help us to make a very bold decision. But I conclude by saying on that point that our parents are the first teachers, and whatever we need in our nation, our parents should be on the know. And then the promise that most schools make, mainly here in Uganda, I may not have a clear picture there over there in Kenya, but the promise that most schools in Uganda make to parents, they promise them good marks. So a parent will always think that it's all about the good marks, and the outcomes we all know. Yes.
Thank you so much. And finally, because of time, and I know that you also have some other engagements, finally, we are coming, we're at post-COVID-19 time, whereby it has actually disrupted the system. And I know that's what you're working on right now, because I've seen you doing a lot of workshop, trying to prepare teachers psychologically, and also in terms of professionally to come back to school. What do you think African schools needs to put in place so that they can catch up with the wasted time due to COVID-19? Kindly, just shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the right thing that we've done as African schools, as African leaders, African stakeholders in education, it would be just one: to overhaul our teaching systems. There's a lot of content that we teach which is not necessary, which is not relevant, which is not productive. So we have had a lot of lost time and lost learning, but that one would be bridged or would be compensated only if a lot of things would be deleted from the teaching systems, and even being deleted from the examinations, because at times in the video or in the conversation that we had yesterday, that is one of the issues that people raised. We don't like teaching who was the son of Vasco da Gama, but you'll find yourself teaching who was the son of Vasco da Gama simply because it's examinable. Who discovered the source of River Nile? And the right answer they will tell you who discovered the source of River Nile is John Speak. Does it mean that we didn't have people who are living there before? So as long as we still set those questions, that is what they call intellectual slavery. So that intellectual slavery, people also have to go out of that prison, whereby let us teach what works for us. There is a concept that at least I would like to end with. It's called protectionalism. Few Africans know about protectionalism. And that's one thing which the whites have totally done best. Like the leaders, for them, what they do best, they do it with an aim of seeing that their citizens and their nations are highly protected and they're given priority in everything. Now you find that for us who don't know it, our citizens are never protected. And that's why Africa has become more of a dumping place. And we have become complacent and very idle. But if we had a lot of protectionalism, you find that there are certain things like textile. Up to now, why should we be importing textile? And you find a person, a proud African, very proud that I'm putting on a suit from made in Italy. I see that as something which is extremely awkward, meaning that in Africa, we can't make suits. So we need to teach things differently. You find even in the presidents and state houses in Africa, they're having the furniture imported. And then we say we want to liberate Africa. We are not fighting the whites, we are not against them, but at the end of the day, protectionism supports people to have money in their pockets. So if we are to teach, those are some of the things that we should teach our learners. Those are some of the things we should teach the teachers, the parents, so that they can help us to do one thing, to work very hard to see that when this child leaves school, they can be very informed and truly acquainted with the right information that can make them productive and very creative and innovative. And then people talk about the 21st century skills. This was the right time for us to see which 21st century skills are applicable, which one can we put into our teaching systems? One of the skills that I can talk about is communication. That is an area where we perform below standard as Africans. Our communication skill is still demanding, but you find that no one talks about it. So those are some of the things that we should look at. And not forgetting this, there's something that pains me as an individual, and that is the bad energy that Africans have, and that is witchcraft. No one talks about it, but witchcraft has done more harm in Africa than even corruption. But schools don't talk about it, governments don't talk about it, leaders don't talk about it. In Africa, the moment you start raising from ladder to ladder, at times they're family members. There's a lot of witchcraft, and all that is simply because of what they call intellectual slavery, which is wrapped with that people being uncivilized. So we are still doing things in the old way, but simply because we haven't patched the education. So if at least we could work on scrapping some courses from the curriculum, putting in new things that work for us, and then looking at our societal challenges, let our societal challenges determine what our children should learn. And that's the best way how we can even manage lost time and lost learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teacher Peter. I know that you are so much a busy man, and I'm so much thankful for your time, so much thankful for the knowledge that you have disseminated using this platform. I know that it will change, and I know that definitely believe that this is not the last time that we have this kind of conversation, because we have the same passion. I'm a teacher, you are a teacher, so we should always come together to see that we give out this knowledge, we inform people, because there are some people I know that they are just waiting this knowledge and to act. So I say thank you so much for accepting our invitation at Tasia Podcast, and we wish you all the best. Maybe to wrap up, you can just tell us where our audience, where to get your content, and maybe you are following some social media, so that maybe if someone needs to catch up and get more from you, they can get it.
Thank you very much, Teacher Joseph. Firstly, yes, people can, we have a website, it's called Teachers TV Africa, sorry, teachersinneed.com. That's our website. And we have a Facebook page, again, it's called Teachers in Need. Then we have another Facebook page called Teachers TV Africa. We also have a WhatsApp, a Twitter handle, Teachers in Need. We also have Teachers TV Africa. People can also follow me on Okware Peter. Yes, whenever you press in Okware Peter, you will see me, this handsome face over there. Then they can also follow us on Teachers TV Africa. It's on YouTube, basically where they can find a lot of educative content in terms of what we share. We not only share content, our own content, but at times we also get people's opinions to see ways on how we can make it not a teachers in need centered project, but it should be all over. And then finally, yes, also people can also reach me out. I'm free with it on WhatsApp, and this is my number. You send a WhatsApp +256. That is the Ugandan code, +256 774 426366, +256 774 426366. Yes, I think that's it. And as my promise was, if you are okay with it, I can share with you that video, which has this, basically it has a true reflection of what teachers shared about what we have been discussing about. Yes, I think it will also be good. At least you can maybe add it, maybe hints idea or a link, I don't know, at least to give it a clear feeling on what other voices beyond your voice and my voice. Thank you very much for this invite, and thank you all our viewers for being on Tasia Podcast. May God bless you, and I wish everyone a blessed new year, and may we work very hard to see that we let love lead, and above all, in Africa we should put God first, and everything will follow. Thank you very much, Teacher Joseph, for your time.
Thank you so much, Teacher
Most
Peter. I'll be looking forward to seeing that content that will be an addition to this one. So, and I say thank you so much for coming, for actually taking your time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. So ours is just to wish you all the best in what you are doing, in changing the community, all your passion, and we pray for you so that you can get all the energies and the wisdom to do it. So you have a good day and a happy new year. Thank you.
Happy New Year, my Mandela Washington. By the way, you didn't tell people that you're a Mandela Washington fellow.
Oh,
You didn't tell people that
okay.
you're a Washington alumni.
Yeah, I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
Okay, so where we actually, let's have credit on that, because one thing that people should know is that I got to know Peter Okware from University of Georgia, who are doing civic education course, courtesy of Mandela Washington Fellowship. So, and I see these are the results now, because were it not be for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, we couldn't have been talking with Teacher Peter and getting all this kind of knowledge and wisdom from him. So thank you also for Mandela Washington Fellowship for giving us this platform. Thank you. Okay.